Hello again. Now, great, it's time for another boring review. But, you know, I'm a music fan, you all know I'm a music fan, and even bigger, I'm a Linkin Park fan, despite the fact that they are generally hated by a lot of music fans, and that they have gone through a dry spell for the past 7 or so years. I still like them, even their new experimental stuff. I mean, you know, it has its problems, but I still enjoy it, and contrary to popular belief, I thought 1,000 Suns really was a really interesting album. But anyway, I have my hands on The Hunting Party, their new album. I like that cover, it's pretty cool. There you go. This is turning into an unboxing video, blah blah blah. I got the deluxe edition, by the way, comes with the DVD, irrelevant. But yeah, I got it a few days ago, so I've given myself a little while to listen to it. I've probably listened to it maybe 8, 9, 10 times, yeah. And just getting started, I really enjoy it. I think it's the best album they've made in the past 7 years, and I think it's on the level of Hybrid Theory and Meteora, and I may just like it better than Meteora, but I don't know. That's going to piss a lot of people off, but really, this album, it's not like new metal, because new metal is kind of a weird genre, although they did it well with Hybrid Theory and Meteora, but this album is real rock. It's real rock. Some elements of metal, punk rock, you know, it's got a lot to it, and it is really good. Some of the best music I've heard in a while. And anyway, I know how long my Eminem review was, so I'm going to try and streamline this and make it quicker, so I'm not going to go in depth on each song like I did in my review of Marshall Mathers LP2. But anyway, I've decided to break my review into 5 categories, and then I've written a summary of each song, which I'll show you later. But anyway, the first thing I'm going to talk about is lyrics. I'm going to jump cut now because I'm thirsty. The first thing I'm going to talk about is lyrics. Lyrics are pretty damn important to me when it comes to music, you know. I mean, it's one thing for a song to be catchy and sound great, but it's another thing for it to have a good message and for it to mean something. And that's why I hate a lot of modern pop songs, despite the fact that they sound cool or are catchy. The lyrics are just garbage and generally icky. So yeah, I find lyrics pretty important, especially on an album like this. And lyrics have never been one of Linkin Park's strong suits, you know. A lot of their songs are full of cliches and stuff like that, and 1,000 Suns I thought was great lyric-wise though, because it was actually a concept album, and it kind of told a story and everything. But a lot of their lyrics have been pretty cliche, and there is some of that on this album. Until It's Gone is one song that I would mention. You know, very, very cliched lyrics. You don't know what you've got until it's gone. And they repeat that line about 5 times in the song. 5 times each chorus, which is pretty damn lazy in my opinion. But this album also shows stretches of great lyrics, such as the song Rebellion, which is probably my favourite track on the album. It has a lot of, you know, like hidden meanings and everything, and the song basically talks about those of us in these like privileged countries and shit trying to be rebellious and stand up. We're just imitations of real rebellion, of what's going on in third world countries, people fighting these wars and everything. Sounds like I'm harking back to my turn down for what thing. It's a metaphor, it's an anti-war metaphor. But no, really, it's just an angry track calling out phony rebels and everything. Another song with great lyrics is Final Masquerade. There's a lot of metaphors in it, and it tells a story of a failed relationship. And you know, there are a few other songs that have great lyrics and meanings, but then some of them do have kind of cliched and overused lyrics, but, you know, they're not bad, they're just kind of, yeah, you know, I'm here for the music. So, overall for this album, I'll give lyrics a 7 out of 10. I mean, you know, they're solid. Couple songs are cringeworthy, but for the most part, the lyrics are solid with a few great ones. The next category that I'm going to talk about is guitar work. Now that is goddamn important on a fucking rock album. Now I know a lot of people didn't expect this to be a rock album, but it is. So guitar work is goddamn important. And let me tell you, that's where this album shines through. Best aspect of it, easily. It's heavy, they're using real instruments for once, and it is just explosive. They show you that right in the first song, Keys to the Kingdom. It starts off heavy. The first 20 seconds of the song is Chester screaming, and it's just... I'm horrible at doing guitar impressions, but it's heavy, it's explosive, it's in your face. Some songs are extremely melodic with the guitar, like Rebellion. There's a very high-pitched thing throughout, which just sounds great. It's like eargasm. And songs like Guilty All the Same, I think Guilty All the Same has some of the best guitar playing they've done in their careers, seriously. I mean, a lot of people don't like it, but I think it sounds incredible. It sounds fucking awesome. Just, if you haven't heard, if you haven't heard Guilty All the Same, it was a single, you should just check it out, just for the sheer awesomeness of that guitar playing. But seriously, throughout the song, there's not a weak moment of guitar work. It's all heavy, it's all aggressive, but it's not aggressive just to be aggressive, you know. This album, it just has energy, and that's what Linkin Park are doing. They're showing us that they finally have energy now, and on this album, guitar work is definitely a 10 out of 10. Now let's talk about the other instruments. I've just listed that as everything: drums, piano, keyboard, etc, etc. Because, you know, that's just as important as the guitar. It backs it up and everything. And while it's not as strong, it's still great. Drums on this album, top notch. Listen to the song War. It's a punk rock song. Just, I forgot to mention that for guitar work. But it's a goddamn fast-paced, in-your-face rock song. Punk rock song. It is awesome. The drums are great all the way throughout this album. You know, you've got the songs that start off with a slow drum solo, and then the ones with the fast-paced drums just backing up the guitar and the singing, and it's just awesome. Now, it kind of falls a little flat in the rest of it. Piano is used really well in some songs, like Rebellion, etc. etc, etc, etc. And other songs it's not. I mean, Until It's Gone is pretty overproduced. I mean, they're still using real instruments, but it still sounds like it's off of living things, and that's not a good thing. Piano is also pretty weak in drawbar. It's a all-instrumental song, and it's just boring, and, you know, it's all instrumental, which could be good, but it's not really heavy. There's no guitar or anything. It's just all sort of drums and piano and stuff, and it is kind of boring. Like, that side of it kind of lacked, but it was still great, and I'd probably give that side of the album a 7.5 out of 10.
The day we stood on the wall.
Vocals. I've always loved Linkin Park's vocals. I mean, what with Chester's screams, I don't know. I don't usually like screaming metal, but just the way they do it, the way Chester Bennington screams, it just, I don't know, it just sounds good, and I like it. And the vocals, let me tell you, on this album are top notch as well. Chester's a bit iffy now and then. When he's screaming and aggressive, he's good, but sometimes he sounds kind of weak and irritating and nasally. But let me tell you who shines, Mike Shinoda. I mean, he's always been the rapper on the album, and he's a great rapper. I don't know, I love the incorporation of rap into these songs. It's not, you know, it's not a common thing you'd see in metal, but it is just, it sounds good. I think they go together. When done right, rap and rock definitely go together. And Mike Shinoda really shined through with the vocals. He's come back with improved rapping skill, and he can actually sing, you know. I know he's sung before, but I haven't really heard it, but in songs like A Line in the Sand, the closing epic, he actually shows off that he can really sing, and he really outshines Chester on this record. And that's pretty much all I can say about that, and vocals get an 8 out of 10 for this album. Now, my last category is featuring artists. Now, this may not seem important in relation to the band, but as an album, it is important to have good featuring artists that you have. And this album has 4, so, you know, I think it's fair enough to do that. And So I'm just going to talk about each one. First is Paige Hamilton, who features in All For Nothing. Great song, great song. Second song of the album, it's still explosive, continues what Keys to the Kingdom started, and let me tell you, Paige Hamilton brings some awesome vocals to that song. I mean, it just sounds great. It really adds something. It's good when Linkin Park use different artists because it brings something new to the song. And then Guilty of the Same, they did the exact opposite. They didn't bring anything new to the song. Rakim is pretty much useless. He's good, he's a great rapper, I'm not denying that, but it just seems kind of redundant when his verse sounds exactly... he sounds exactly like Mike Shinoda in the verse, and you think, well, what was the point of that? Mike could have done that just as good. So I think that was a misuse, but... Now, Darren Malakian on Rebellion is definitely the best featuring artist. He's from System of a Down. Not that I've heard their music much, but seriously, what he brought to this song is brilliant. I mean, he's not a singer on it or anything, but they got him in the studio, and he basically helped create the song. He's the one that does that awesome freaking guitar riff, that deep guitar riff, and you know, I believe he wrote some of the song, if I'm not wrong, but just the sound of that song is just so different to the rest of the album that it just feels awesome, and it's like a breath of fresh air. And that's what I mean by having other artists can add to the experience and the uniqueness of the album. And then the last one, Tom Morello on Drawbar, which is just basically a jam session. It's an instrumental, so there's nothing I can really say about that because I'm not a giant fan of the song. But it's not necessarily bad. It's good music, but it's just boring, I suppose. Sorry for not being very eloquent there, but on featuring artists, I'd probably give that section 8 out of 10 as well. Overall, this is the album Linkin Park needed to make after Meteora. They didn't need Minutes to Midnight, they didn't need 1,000 Suns, they didn't need Living Things. And I don't regret the fact that those albums were made, I just think this feels like a natural progression from where they went. It's an organic sound, it's modern but old school at the same time. It builds upon this old early 2000s, late 1990s sound, and it's just really fun to listen to, and I think it might start becoming okay to like Linkin Park again, you know. Now people might be able to say, yeah, I like Linkin Park without being made fun of, like me. But anyway, overall, if I average out the scores I've given and the scores I've given to each song, blah blah blah, you know me, I'm a ranking man. But overall, this album gets an 8.2 out of 10 from me. Definitely a solid album. If you've ever been a fan of Linkin Park, it's definitely worth checking out. Even if you're just into rock music in general, you don't have to buy it, but just find it online, listen to it, and if you like it, buy it, support the cause of freedom. But yeah, it's a really great album, and that's all I have to say, and I will leave you with my summaries on the songs and everything, and I will see you guys next time. I know this video is probably boring, but hey, it's for the music fans out there. See ya.
No control, no surprise. Toss the keys to the kingdom down that hole in my eye. No debt to pay. I'm gonna get what I deserve. There's no peace, only war. Victory decides who's wrong or right. Till it's gone. Until it's gone. I've seen the blood, I've seen the broken, the lost and the sights unseen.